Hello and welcome to Week in Weird for the first week of March 2022. My name is GiBi and we're actually going to start with a story about Chris Chan. And I know that that's a very unusual topic to be covered on my channel. So on the last day of February, the internet was rocked by news that Chris Chan had been transferred to a different jail. An alert was sent out to people who had subscribed for updates to Chris's inmate status, and we learned that he was being transferred, but we didn't know where he was being transferred to. It was a big mystery. And it still is. The best we have is that an EMT contacted one of the people who keeps up the quickie, and so we have an unconfirmed report about what might have happened to Chris. Other than this, he's just missing. Like, we don't know where he is. This is their claim, though. So again, take this with a grain of salt. Someone claiming to work for an EMS would private message one of the quickie operators about Chris's record. They would claim that Chris was transferred via ambulance with a law enforcement escort. They would also claim that Chris would receive narcotic sedative when needed. Chris may have been brought to Western State Hospital, which specializes in mental disorders. So besides that claim, we don't know where he is. He's lost. If you want to find out what his last contacts with the outside world were right before this transfer, you can watch my previous video. I'll have that linked below. But really, the message, the point of the story, is that he just disappeared. We don't know what happened. And that's something. Alright, now this story relates to the ongoing invasion of Ukraine by Russia. NATO countries and other countries around the world have been imposing sanctions on Russia. Companies have been doing this as well, with MasterCard banning Russian transactions. But this is a fresh take. This is a fresh, bold new idea that I had not seen before. Tory MP calls on EA Sports to sanction Russia by removing teams from FIFA. An MP is like a senator, but they're from England, so it doesn't matter because their government's a joke. A conservative backbencher has called on EA Sports to remove Russian teams and players from their FIFA 2022 football video game. Chad Boswick, that is a name. I can see why he won his election. Chad Boswick made the demand in response to Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine this morning. He tweeted, "It's time to get tough on Putin. Hit them where it hurts. Remove all Russian clubs, players, and the national team from FIFA 2022 across all platforms. They can do this immediately at the flick of a switch nowadays. Just do an update. Show Putin we mean business." I think I'm usually pretty good at finding sarcasm in quotes. Like, there's a story I'm not covering this week, although I guess I'm going to cover it now because I'm explaining it, where a Republican government person was speaking, and they said something to the effect of, to quote the great philosopher Toby Keith, and then he read a Toby Keith song lyrics.
Mr. Speaker, when the United States military shows up, kings and kingdoms fall to their knees. As the great philosopher Toby Keith once said, we put a boot in their ass. It's the American way.
And it trended on Twitter how dumb this guy was for saying Toby Keith was a philosopher when clearly he was being sarcastic. I don't know if this guy is being sarcastic or not when he says that we gotta hit Putin where it hurts. FIFA 2022. Okay, apparently he went on a radio program and talked about this situation more. He angrily denied suggestions that this didn't go far enough. Look, it's all very well calling for restrictions on Russian financial assets from the comfort of your ivory tower, but let me tell you this. I was elected to a traditional Labour seat on a platform of leveling up with the North-South divide. I don't care about British politics. Talk about property values. I don't know what this has to do with FIFA 22. We reached out to Electronic Arts, but they had not replied to any of our emails at the time of publication. That's so sad. Alright, this next story is actually very serious. As many of you might be aware, Markiplier made a video where he smash or passed on every Pokemon. Yeah. But that's not the story. The story is that yesterday, the story is that yesterday, MatPat made a game theory video designing Markiplier's perfect Pokemon that he would want to smash. This is a real thing that a team of people put together for consumption. So somebody was paid money to Photoshop a humanoid Pikachu with boobs into a thumbnail for a YouTube video. Like, Markiplier's video was clearly tongue-in-cheek, but this video, something There's definitely a pun in there about putting your tongue in Pikachu's cheek. I don't know. You come up with the joke. I can't do all the work here.
When you look at the graph, there is a definite trend here. Sure, there are a number of outliers, but most of his choices were under 100 kilograms and also under 2 meters in height, with his averages sitting at 1.53 meters, just over 5 foot tall, and 58 kilograms, or 130 pounds. So in spite of Markiplier's insistence that he likes them big,
how many times have I said, I want a woman that could crush my head in between her thighs?
The evidence actually shows that his preference is for Pokemon that are smaller than average.
This is something else. So the new The Batman movie came out this week to critical acclaim. I personally thought that it was a movie that came out. No, I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. It's kind of hard to rate movies when they're from a very popular franchise, because, like, it's not The Dark Knight, but, you know, it's not bad. But some people saw the movie, and they actually watched it with an unexpected guest. Now, you might be expecting me to say that, like, Robert Pattinson was in the audience or something, because that happened with Spider-Man. Like, Tom Holland just went and saw the movie with regular people, and it was really cool. No, that's not what happened. Someone let a bat loose in the theater. As we can see from this tweet from Jeremiah24, the theater has paused the screen and turned on the lights. And there he is. Yep, yeah, there's a bat flying around. Real cool. This is cinema. Do you get it? Because Martin Scorsese says superhero films aren't real movies, but you throw a real bat in there and suddenly it's art. Alright, so here's the story. The general manager of a Northwest Austin movie theater believes a real live bat got into a showing of the new Batman movie as a prank. Local animal control was immediately contacted, and they have been overseeing the situation to ensure guests, associates, and animal safety. The theater offered to give refunds, but a majority of the crowd opted to stay and watch the film, bat and all. To ensure a prank like this does not again occur, we will be adding additional security and checking all bags upon guest entry. So anyone who's trying to sneak candy into the movie theater is gonna get thwarted now because someone had to bring a live bat in. Now that's the end of the stories for this week, but it's not the end of this video. See, last week I made a cheeky challenge for you guys to try to be more creative than the average Twitter user. You see, a new Pokemon was unveiled, and he looks kind of like weed, I guess, but not really. And every take on Twitter is that the cat was weed. So I want to see what you guys said about him. Is that cat smoking a blunt? Is that Weed Cat? Weed Cat is the best starter. Is that cat smoking a blunt? My man GiBi, some of those blunts were in fact joints. Nomenclature is pedantic sometimes. I forgive you. Stay off drugs, kids. My favorite part was when the Weed Cat smoked a blunt. And that's it for this week's episode of Week in Weird. You can follow me on Twitter at GiBi_Devin. Make sure to subscribe for next week's episode.
Would this make me a furry if I said smash? Smash.